Welcome back, guys, to another video of Pen and Needle. We go over a lot of topics relating to MD versus DO or anything that we're interested in. However, today is going to be a little bit more of a sensitive topic that we're going to go over. We're talking about mental health concerns, more specifically depression. However, there can be a lot of different things that are concerning people regarding their mental health. And we're going to kind of go over what you can do to address it and also how to identify with what's kind of going on and reassure you that there's a lot of other places and a lot of support systems that are set up in this community that we have in the medical profession that you can utilize and go through and get the right treatment for you, basically, right? So in terms of mental health or depression or anything like that, right? How would you say what would you say to a person that comes in and says, hey, I'm feeling down, what do I do?
Right. So the first thing is there's a criteria for determining depression, like clinical depression, that requires treatment. And the criteria includes like a variety of symptoms, which include like some things that you might not think are part of depression, like appetite changes, like sleep changes, or concentration changes, or changes in your interest. For example, if you had a hobby where you were into gardening and now you don't feel like gardening anymore, or if you're sleeping a lot more, or if you're sleeping too little, right? That has changed. Or, you're feeling guilty about something, Those are some things that, aside from the other mood symptoms like feeling depressed, people don't think that are associated with depression. Depression is causing sleep changes, appetite changes, changes in your, interest and concentration. So those are some things to be aware of. And when you are feeling like low energy and all of these kind of symptoms and low mood, the first thing to do is seek help.
100%.
First thing is to go to your doctor, and besides talking about your medical history, talk about your mood, talk about how you're feeling, talk about your sleep, talk about your eating habits, and share it with them.
Yep.
And your primary care will, if he's not able to address your mood disorder, will refer you to a psychiatrist. They can better take care of your moods and mood disorder. And especially if it's been going on for a long time, right? You need to seek help because it is something that can be treated. Either medically, through medicine, or through psychotherapy, where, they use, different strategies to kind of
counseling this.
Counsel and find out why you're depressed and how to come over that hurdle. Because once you do come over that hurdle, your life is going to be so much better. Your life is going to change for the better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And also, one thing I want to mention here is, yes, definitely speak to your medical professional regarding these concerns, right? Any type of changes in your mood, you should address them. You shouldn't keep them to yourself. But also, whoever is closest to you, right? Your family members, keep them in the loop too. One of the key hallmarks of any type of mental mental disorder anyone's experiencing is the fact that they start becoming self-isolated, right? Pushing everyone away. But in those moments are the moments that you need people around you. You need a support structure around you to keep you uplifted and show you constantly that there is a silver lining regardless of whatever incident is causing this, right? Because you can experience any type of mood disorder through multiple different avenues, right? Where you can have a loss of a family member, or you can have some type of illness that you were recently diagnosed with, or you can just be not finding a job or something like that, right? So in those moments, you want to keep people around you that are really reliable, trustworthy, supportive, stuff like that. One personal thing that I can share with you guys is that I remember during my after my undergrad, actually, after my undergrad, I wanted to apply to med school. I always knew I wanted to get into medical school since the beginning, right? Since high school and everything. So I wanted to get into med school. I applied first year, I didn't get in, and that got me really down and depressed. So I didn't know what was going on, right? I was sleeping a lot more. I was sleeping like 12 ridiculous amounts, like 13 hours a day, right? I wasn't really doing much, and I was just feeling down. And I just thought there was no future. In those moments, you don't really see a future, right? The tunnel is dark, but it is a tunnel. But it has an entrance and an exit, and at that moment you just don't see the exit. So when I wasn't getting the right responses that I wanted from the medical schools, and I didn't get into medical school, I didn't know what to do. So I had to personally just kind of push through that without knowing what was going on with me. And thankfully I did get in, and I did get out of that phase. And now I do realize, looking back on it, that one of the things that, or actually rather one of the biggest mistakes I was making, was the fact that you're isolating yourself from people, right? There are people around you that can help you and support you before you even seek medical help. You should definitely seek medical help if you really need it. And we're always here to help you and give you any type of referral or any type of treatment needed if you really require it to get the right care for yourself. However, there should be a support structure around you. And the fact of the matter is that now we're living in a technological era, right? When COVID hit, a lot of mental health issues got exacerbated, right? Although there was a lot of deaths that COVID caused directly, there was also an indirect effect from COVID because everyone was isolated at home, right? The self-isolation thing. Since everyone is isolated at home, as human beings, we're naturally interactive people. And since we didn't get that interaction, so you saw a rise in domestic abuse, you saw a rise in suicide, you saw a rise in depression, anxiety, and all these things started coming into the clinics.
A lot of people lost their jobs, they lost their businesses, you know, there are a lot of family problems. And one thing I would like to add on to what you said is, if you know someone that just became isolated, that recently, you know, you notice that person has changed to become more quiet, you know, don't just forget about them. Keep them in the loop. You know, reach out to them. Try to find out if everything's okay. Your friends and family, you know, call them once in a while. You know, keep in touch and keep up to date with how they're doing.
Yeah, check in on them. Make sure they're okay. You know, let them know that you're there as a system of support. It doesn't take a long time to shoot over a text message now saying, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, just some simple things like that can keep people a little bit more, even though they might still be going through it, it can still show them a silver lining. And also, back to the kind of COVID thing, I've kind of went over all the gloomy things that happened during COVID, right? But one silver lining of COVID itself, or rather the COVID era itself, was the fact that the technological aspects of medicine started expanding, right? Now we have expanded healthcare even into telemedicine. So any type of mental health counseling or counselors that you need to reach out to can also be reached out to virtually. There are applications now you can download to get immediate access, free access even, to mental health professionals, even to psychiatrists that can address your mental health concerns immediately. So know that these resources are now presently available to this day, and they will be available for you. Right? So if you need that type of help, know that there is structures in place now in society that can provide an additional avenue where you can kind of reach out to and enter into, right? Also, you know, the fact is that medicine is also expanding. There's also a new aspect of medicine called neuropsychiatry that we're looking into now currently as well, where you're combining neurology and psychiatry, and we're seeing how brain pathways are basically functioning during certain mood disorders or during certain times of people's depression or anxiety, right? So constant research is happening. So
we're getting better at you know, treating depression and treating mood disorders
and figuring it out. We're getting better at it. So definitely reach out to your medical professionals if you need to, and don't feel like there is a roadblock there, because there isn't a roadblock, and you should be getting the proper treatment. Don't feel
Right.
discouraged. Don't feel like this is some type of stigma,
No.
and don't
No.
feel stigmatized that, oh, now since I feel this way, I feel like I'm shunned by everybody, and
Yeah.
people will look at me differently. That's
Yeah.
not true, you know.
Your perception changes when you're in that kind of tunnel. Like if you have depression or other mood disorders, your perception of the environment changes. And when you're treated, your perception changes again, and your quality of life improves significantly,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, life is like a roller coaster, honestly. You know, it's ups and downs constantly, but there are downs that will follow an up, right? What
Right.
am I saying? I'm saying something dumb.
So when
I'm
you,
saying that there will be ups and downs, but just like a roller coaster, right? It's gonna go back up
Right.
if once you go down, right?
I got
It's
something.
not.
Every night
Yeah.
has a dawn, daybreak, and the brightness
Okay.
follows the darkness.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So that's another aspect. So always think about the silver linings that you have in life, because during these moments you forget about those things. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, this is the only thing that's happening, and this is the worst thing possible, and there is no escape from this.
Yeah.
There is always an escape out, okay? And you just have to find that way, and there are avenues now that you can, that rather can assist you on that way out, or even give you that way out. So definitely reach out to those avenues, right? Yeah, and also one more thing. This is not just a isolated thing for everybody in the general public. Even once you get into medical school,
Yeah.
or even in medicine itself, medical students, residents, physicians also experience this.
Yeah.
Everybody experiences
High
this.
rate of depression in medical professionals actually.
And suicide.
Yeah.
And suicide. The other, like I was telling you a few months ago, that I got an email in my class, actually. Well, not in my class. It was one of my upper division classmen who ended up passing away, and it went over like reaching out and resources that you have, and we do have resources even in the medical professionals. Sorry, even in the medical profession for medical professionals.
Yeah.
To reach out and get help, right? So your hospital has avenues for you, and reach out to people, stay in constant contact, don't isolate yourself. Those kinds of things are important, and there are medications, there are interventions that can be taken other than medications, like counseling or cognitive behavioral therapy that could be done if deemed needed, that you can also undertake.
Yeah, but the most important and the initial step is recognizing and seeking help from a professional and from your family and your friends. And if you don't, some people don't have a support structure. In that setting, the medical professional is the best option. Seek help from a medical professional, and it is something treatable. It is something that you can overcome, and it will just be so much better for you and improve your quality of life so much more after you get help.
So guys, if this has been a pretty short video on the mental health as a broad aspect and avenues you can reach out, and did find this video informative in any way, just like and subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. But let us know. We're here.
Yeah, and comment below if you found this helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.